Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day this is, and I am so excited to be opening the first building of the Blacksburg Museum. This is a beautiful day, and we thank you all for being here today to celebrate this very special occasion with us. We're going to begin the remarks this morning with Mayor Ron Rordam of the town of Blacksburg, and he's going to do some thank yous for us.
Thank you. I want to welcome everybody today to this glorious event, and we have the right weather for it to kick off the grand opening of the Oddfellows Lodge. We all know what it means to all of us to celebrate this history. We have just a tremendous lineup of speakers and entertainment. So that's one thing I've learned in my 4 years as mayor, that to keep it very short, especially when you have such wonderful people following you. So I will follow that guideline and do it now. But first, there are some folks we need to thank. And as I call the names of the three people who are here from the trustees, if they would stand up, and I think we need to give them all a wonderful round of applause because they are so responsible for this preservation and this opening. Walter Lewis, back over here, Aubrey Mills, and Ms. B. Walker, right here. So thank you all very much. And it is exciting because we have all the members of Town Council here. I want to just introduce them very briefly. We have a Vice Mayor, Susan Anderson, and Leslie Hager-Smith, Don Langrier, Cecile Newcomb, Krisha Chatra, and John Bush. So thank you all for being here today. We also owe a great deal of thanks to the Blacksburg Museum Committee and the St. Luke and Oddfellows Hall subcommittee members. If y'all would just stand up and raise your hand and to give you a joint round of applause here. And we're honored to have the Alumni Association of the Christiansburg Institute. So if y'all could either stand up or raise your hand. Want to thank the staff of the town of Blacksburg because they've worked very hard in helping put all this together. All the community members who've been supportive of this program from its inception. And I do need to, this is not on my list, but there's one person I think who has worked very hard and very diligently and helped with this vision, and he's here, is Tom Sherman. Tom, where are you? Thank you, Tom. The project architect Barry Rakes, the general contractor, building specialist and their team, and Bob Pack, if he's here, for letting us use his property as kind of a staging area. And I think everybody here, and looking around, seeing the faces and the expressions, it is just, I think it is a marvelous kickoff to our first jewel in the crown of our historic sites within the town of Blacksburg. Now, I just came back this week from a trip to Louisiana to visit friends, and a good friend of mine who I grew up with has been very involved in Baton Rouge and all of their historic preservation efforts, and I got to sit down with him and some of the other members of their team, and in fact got to have a meal at the old governor's mansion that Huey Long built, and I came back with just an additional enthusiasm and rejuvenated in what we should do in Blacksburg with our historic sites. Preserving this community and the Oddfellows, I think, is very important, but I also put this out as a challenge. This is not an end, this is just the beginning. And I think we need to continue to work together as we have here to continue our progress forward and our preservations efforts, and to make all of these buildings and all of these activities part of our community and an integral part of the fabric of our lives, so we can remember those who came before us to make Blacksburg what it is. Because if it weren't for those people, we would not be standing here today in this community. I know that we all love, and cherish. So we look forward to the events today, the program. Thank you very much for being here, and thank everybody for their hard work and efforts.
Thank you very much, Mayor Ordum. Next, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Paula Seniors, an associate professor in the Virginia Tech Department of Sociology. Dr. Seniors has been at Tech since 2008, and her latest book, entitled Beyond Lift Every Voice and Sing, The Culture of Uplift, Identity, and Politics in Black Musical Theater, obviously is related to the song that you're about to hear. And joining Dr. Seniors is Michelle McLeese, who is a PhD candidate in the Sociology Department. Please welcome Dr. Paula Seniors and Michelle McLeese.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have Michelle sing the song, and if we could just listen to it very carefully. Listen to the lyrics.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you. So the Civil War and the civil rights collided in the late 19th century with James Weldon Johnson and J. Rosamond Johnson's Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black national anthem. Several incidents in their lives influenced the writing of the song as a civil rights song and as a protest song. To understand how their ideology manifested, here is a brief biographical sketch. James Weldon Johnson was born on June 17, 1871, and his brother J. Rosamond was born on August 11, 1873, both in Jacksonville, Florida. Their family background informed their social and political thought. Their mother, Helen Louise Dillett, was a free woman of color of Haitian and white ancestry, and their father, James Freeman, was a freeman from Virginia, and they both met in New York City. They met in New York City, and when the Civil War broke out, they feared that they would be enslaved. They feared that all African-American free people would be enslaved. So this compelled them to go to Nassau, Bahamas, where they eventually married. And they eventually settled in Florida. The Johnson brothers' experience with the threat of enslavement marked one of the events that colored the brothers' social and political thought, and led the Johnson brothers to have a strong commitment to serving and helping the Black community. James Weldon Johnson, for example, expressed a strong willingness to fight social justice. So while he was a student at Atlanta University, he condemned the practice of lynching in the Lutheran Courier and in all of his articles that he wrote during this time period. In 1894, April 1894, he wrote, "What Atlanta University has done for me," and said that his education, quote, "enabled him to become a leader and a helper to my race, which so much needs leadership as well as well-trained men and women," end quote. And he followed these tenets throughout life. Upon graduating from Atlanta University, he returned to Jacksonville and became the principal of the Stanton School, a school for the descendants of the slaves. And this was a school that his mother founded. his brother, J. Rosamond Johnson, graduated from the New England Conservatory of Music and became the musical director for the Florida Baptist Academy in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, one of the most defining contributions to aiding the Black community was their writing of the Black National Anthem. So in 1896, James Weldon Johnson wrote the lyrics and J. Rosamond Johnson wrote the music to the song. And they dedicated it to Booker T. Washington, and it was performed by 500 school children on Emancipation Day in 1896. The song extolled the hopes and resilience of Blacks and reflected Booker T. Washington's life as a slave and as a freeman. Now I want us again to listen to the song, the lyrics, and think about how it reflects the resilience of African Americans and how it reflects advocacy for civil rights.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you. So the lyrics resonate with not only the uplift ideology, but the collective memory of the horrors of slavery, and it also embodies the ideals of an unwavering commitment of hope, freedom, and social progress. So in conclusion, the Johnson brothers family experience, the threat of enslavement, James Weldon Johnson's advocating against lynching and striving to become a leader and a helper to his race, influenced the brothers' social and political thought. The team fought against social and political injustice by merging politics, W.E.B. Du Bois' ideology, and Booker T. Washington's ideology into Lift Every Voice and Sing. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Seniors and to Michelle McLeese. We appreciate you being here to do that this morning. And I want to echo the thanks that Mayor Rordam has expressed to all those who have worked to get us to this point. This is an exciting day for me and one that I have been looking forward to for several years, but there are many of you in this audience I know who have been anticipating this day even longer than I have. At the groundbreaking ceremony for this building back in February, I said that buildings are triggers for memories that we hold, and that is especially true for this hall. But even greater is that now this building will be a tool to teach others about the community of people who made it a part of their lives. We made some major decisions about this project very early in the process. First, that this was to be a preservation, not a renovation. When you think about its history, this building has never tried to be fancy or elaborate. This building shows that it has been well used during its heyday. So we did not want to make this building look new. What we wanted instead is for the history that this building has to share. It has been all too often whitewashed, and we did not want to do that to this building. Second, we wanted this building to be educational. The exhibit that we have created here covers 100 years, the time period that the Newtown community was thriving. We've titled the exhibit From Civil War to Civil Rights, and B. Walker has been working for years to collect much of the information that you will see in this exhibit. But we know that this is just the tip of the iceberg, And that's where you come in. If you have items or pictures or even just some memories about this community or this hall, we want to hear about it. We've even set up to be able to record you today. If you have a memory, we've got some cameramen who will videotape you recounting your memory of the building. Chip and Josh have a camera. They're going to be set up over here afterwards. So keep that in mind. Be thinking of your memories. If you find some things at home later, give me a call anytime, and my business cards are over on the table there, so take one of those. I also want to let you know a little bit about how this building is going to be used. We will have the building open to the public 20 hours a week beginning in July, so that people can come to see the exhibit or do research here. In the meantime, you can call me to set up an appointment to come to the building by yourself or to bring someone else. We want you to be able to use the building. As for research here, we're working with the Virginia Tech Library's Special Collections to get the records of the Oddfellows Hall scanned electronically so that they'll be available here and online. We're also forging a great partnership with the Virginia Tech Office of Equity and Inclusion, who are here today and have a table under the tent. And we will be partnering with them to offer programs here in the hall for students and for the general public. So I hope you'll take the opportunity to talk with them as well about their programming and the great work that they're doing at Virginia Tech. The building will also be available for group meetings. So I hope that you can see that this building is going to continue to be a community center just as it was in its rich heritage. This is a major milestone for the town of Blacksburg's museum program. This is the first building for the museum. Our mission is to establish and inform a sense of place and time for Blacksburg citizens and visitors. The St. Luke and Oddfellows Hall definitely has that sense of place and time, and I know you'll sense that today. Thank you all for being here. It's now my pleasure to introduce Roxanne Beamer, who is a 9th through 12th grade special ed teacher in the Montgomery County Schools, and she's going to be singing the Battle Hymn of the Republic for us this morning.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and damps. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with the glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make him free. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Yes, it is. His truth is marching on. His truth is marching on.
Thank you, Roxanne. It is my pleasure to introduce our next guest. Nikki Giovanni is the University Distinguished Professor of English in the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences, and she's going to read a poem with a direct connection to Newtown, entitled A Theory of Pole Beans for Ethel and Rice. Please join me in welcoming Nikki Giovanni.
I'm delighted to have been invited to be a part of this today. I saw my brother Rice someplace, and I haven't seen Johnny. I know that they were in Harold. Oh, they made it in. Yeah, okay. I kind of adopted their parents, and they kind of adopted me, so I now have a couple of brothers that my mother neglected to give to me, so I'm glad to be here. I so adored Ethel. I adored Rice, but Ethel reminded me of my grandmother, a lot of people. And when I watched this couple and how they were evolving, this was an anniversary. Somebody said, but this was an anniversary gift. I got to tell you, though, I don't mind taking time, but I'm a poet. And so one of the things that happened is that, you're always writing poems, And so I wrote a poem for my parents for their anniversary gift called Nikki Rosa, right? And my mother said, well, it's a nice poem, baby. Why don't you give me a real present sometime? Keeps you humble, let me tell you. But Ethel didn't say that. Ethel liked it, and God bless her. It's a theory of pole beans because pole beans are real. They're not snap beans. They're not divas. They're not requiring a whole lot. You not have to get the temperature right on them. You put the pole beans on, you cook them all day with a little fat back, and they feed you. And when you have 4 sons and people that drop in all the time, this is what works. That must have been at the tail end of the Depression, as well as a depression of coming war. There certainly was segregation and hatred and fear. These small towns and small-minded people trying to bend taller spirits down were unable to succeed. There couldn't have been too much fun assuming fun equates with irresponsibility. There was always food to be put on the table, clothes to be washed and ironed, hair to be pressed, gardens to be weeded, and children to talk to and teach each other to love and tend to. Pole beans are not everybody's favorite. They make you think of pieces of fat-back cornbread and maybe a piece of fried chicken. They are the staples of things unquestioned. They are broken and boiled. No one would say life handed you a silver spoon or a golden parachute, but still you met, married, bought a home, reared a family, supported a church, and kept a mighty faith in your God and each other. They say love is a many-splendored thing, but maybe that's because we recognize you loved no matter what the burdens, you laughed No matter for the tears, you persevered in your love, and your garden remains in bloom.
Thank you, Nikki, for doing that. Okay, next is the ribbon cutting. On the word.
All right, what we're going to do, we're going to count to 3, and when we do 3, we'll snap, but everybody wants to get pictures while we're counting, you can do that. 1, 2, 3.
Again, thank you all very much for being here and celebrating this with us, and please enjoy the exhibit today and enjoy visiting with your neighbors.